Hey, this is Doc Yates. I'm a naturopathic doctor, registered acupuncturist, and a kinesiologist, owner of the Yates Naturopathic Clinic, and the founder of the interactive health website, Able Health. And this is the Simply Health Podcast, a show for females where I work to simplify and demystify the secrets of achieving optimal health naturally, based on my own experience in working with thousands of female patients over the past 15 years of my clinical practice. Welcome to Simply Health. Hey, this is Doc Yates, and today on the Simply Health Podcast, brought to you by Able Health, we are going to talk about 5 key components that you need to know for diet to optimize your fertility. So yes, we're still going off and discussing fertility for the next few episodes, because this is all in lieu of the release that we have for the Able Health fertility software. And here's how it works. You go online, you do a quiz. The quiz helps to address any of your fertility imbalances, and then it automatically creates a plan with the most optimal supplements, the best diet plan. It gives you access to over 1,000 recipes for that diet plan, acupuncture protocols using acupuncture sticker needles that anyone can use, all built into the same simple-to-use fertility program from Able Health. So it is going to be a huge game changer, and I'm very excited about the release. So hence, we're going to continue a few more episodes about fertility, even though that doesn't necessarily pertain to perimenopause and menopause. I know without question that you do have friends and family members dealing with fertility issues that you will want to help and share this with. Okay, so we're talking about diet and its role with fertility, because what I typically see in mainstream medicine is that they don't really discuss diet. Instead, what they commonly prescribe in these situations is just metformin. So rather than say, let's adjust your diet, let's cut out all the crap, they put you on metformin to have an effect on your blood sugar, knowing that that would have an effect on your fertility. Whereas the way I see it is that there's a problem with your blood sugar, there's probably a problem with what you're eating. Let's address that. So, number 1. We want to start with the obvious things first. And these are the things that if you just do a simple Google search, you will find on your own. You still need to address this. So cutting out things like alcohol, stimulants, caffeine. It depends. Like if your diet, like I'm not sure who, when you're listening to this, where you're starting at. Like, are you eating, living off of fast food and like energy drinks twice a day, or you already have a clean diet? We don't know. So we want to make sure we get the obvious addressed. So like I said, cutting out the alcohol, stimulants, chemicals and preservatives, that's a big part of it. And any really high processed foods. So things with lots of white flour, white sugar, if it sits in a box and it can stay there for months on end without going bad, it's probably processed enough that it's not going to be great for you for your fertility experience. Number 2, depending on your BMI, so basically think of it as your body weight relative to your height, or if you have PCOS, we're going to be determining, are you going to be on a low-carb diet or a very low-carb diet? So you'll notice right off the bat from that, either one is not a high-carb diet. The best results seem to be from lower-carb diets. So if you're overweight, or if you have something called PCOS, you will do better for fertility with a very low-carb diet, because this will help with your blood sugar. It's going to help with the weight loss, which plays a role with fertility. Being overweight does reduce your fertility. And the PCOS, people with PCOS are more carbohydrate sensitive, which is how I'd like to word it, which means that they're more prone to things like diabetes. These are all things that need to be addressed. So in those situations, overweight or PCOS, you're going to be going on to a very low-carb diet. Able Health is already designed that will do that for you. If you have regular BMI, so a normal healthy weight, you're still going to be switched to a low-carb diet, but it's not going to be a very low-carb diet. So you're looking at the difference between a low-carb diet would maybe be 1 to 2 grain servings per day and 1 or 2 fruit servings per day, whereas a very low-carb diet would be no grain servings and maybe 1 fruit serving per day. If that kind of gives you an idea in terms of what you're looking at. Is it a pain? Yeah, if you're used to a really high, like a high-carb, high-processed diet, it's the most convenient way to eat, but it's not the healthiest way to eat. So there is going to be a bit of a change involved. If you want to see results always involve change, and I hate to say it, but that's just the way it is. So by making these changes, you will see benefits to your fertility. And this is not just me saying this. This has been studied fairly in depth. So anything that you can do to improve your body weight and balance your blood sugar will have a positive effect on your fertility. Point number 3, iron-rich foods. So iron-rich foods are very important for fertility. In Chinese medicine, blood levels and iron levels are extremely important for fertility. So I don't want to be, there is such a thing as too much iron, but generally in females that have like a regular menstrual flow, it's not too common that excess iron is a problem. It's very common, though, that low iron is a problem. So make sure you're getting iron-rich foods twice per day. And this doesn't always have to be just animal-based proteins, though I would say that is by far your best source of easy-to-absorb iron-rich foods. But you can focus on some other things like dark greens and nuts and seeds as well, which is going to tie in great to the next point. Is beyond iron, which is a mineral, other mineral-rich foods. It's very common to see deficiencies in these minerals. So anything you can do to ramp up more mineral-rich foods for point number 4, like dark leafy greens. So instead of doing iceberg lettuce, do spinach. Instead of doing, snacking on potato chips, snack on something like seaweed chips. It's still salty. It gives a bit of a different flavor, but much, much higher in minerals. Nuts, seeds, in terms of a snack, instead of just grabbing, a snack of just like candies or chocolate, switch to like a trail mix instead. This will make a big difference. To get the minerals, the rich mineral foods, it has to be things that have very deep tap roots. And this is why nuts and seeds play such a role, because the trees have such deep tap roots to get down into the soil. Other than that, you're looking at the seafood bases, which is why seaweed plays such a big role. So that's point number 4, is the mineral-rich foods. Point number 5 is that you also want to address any other diet-related concerns that you have, because if there's anything else throwing your health out of balance, it should be addressed. So if you have known food sensitivities, you're going to want to select that, and when you select that with Able Health, it will remove those from your diet. If you have any digestive issues, and anything that therefore could be playing a negative role with your ability to absorb these nutrients. So say if you had, let's say IBS-D, so you always have chronic diarrhea or lots of bloating, or even if it's constipation, you want to make sure that you get these health issues addressed. And this is because fertility is fairly straightforward. Anything that you can do that improves your health, improves your fertility. Fertility is really just the health of your endocrine system and your ovaries and your uterus. It all has to do with your overall health. So that's the great thing about this style of treatment, is that the goal is to improve your overall health, and as a side benefit to that, you automatically will see an improvement in your fertility. And a lot of people think, well, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people who have absolute crappy diets that are overweight, and guess what? They still got pregnant, they still got kids. And I agree 100%. But it doesn't mean that that's the reason that they got pregnant in the first place. Like, I guarantee that you also know people that smoke that didn't get lung cancer. You probably know people that eat crappy and got people that drink a lot of beer, and yet they're not overweight. There's exceptions to every rule. But it doesn't mean that's the way that they're going to work to optimize their results. And since you're on this podcast, I know you're here because you want to optimize your results and then enable other people to optimize their results. And the best way to do that is to optimize your diet at the same time. So I hope that gave a little bit of helpful information about diet and fertility and the things that you can start doing to incorporate in your diet, in your lifestyle, and reap these rewards now. So this is Doc Yates, signing off. Thanks for tuning in to Simply Health. If you want to learn more about health, check out Able Health. If you want to see some of the other projects that I've been working on in health, business, music, and life, please check out the links below.